Welcome to Cape Town in South Africa for the launch of the all-new second generation Audi A7 Sportback. So this is a car that's designed to combine cool coupe looks with limousine-like luxury. Actually, with that in mind, let's start with how comfortable this car is to travel in. This new A7 Sportback definitely feels a little bit more roomy in the rear than the old car, so look, I'm fine back here. Now, people over 6 foot might struggle because headroom is still a bit on the tight side because of that sloping roof, but it's all okay, and you can chill out, pull this down, and you have a little bit of storage under there if you want it, and there's some cup holders here. I like the fact that you've got digital controls for the climate back here, so look, you just slide the touch sensitive controls, set it the temperature you want. You've also got some USB imports and a 12 volt to charge your mobile devices, and it's quiet as well. So this particular car is fitted with the acoustic glass, and yeah, it's serene back here. It's all very nice. And you can get 4 different types of suspension. So there's normal suspension, there's sport suspension, there is adaptive suspension, and then there's the top of the range air suspension, which is what this car has, and for the most part it's really nice. It floats along over undulations, gives the car a sophisticated feel to it. There is one thing though, when you hit something like an expansion gap in a motorway, a pothole or a small bump, it just sends a jolt through the car. It's really odd, it just shocks you. It's like bang, and sometimes over rough roads you can feel it just fidgeting around. It just breaks the ambience. Now there is something that's not helping with that. So this car is riding on 20-inch alloy wheels. You can actually get it with 21s, but they will make the ride even worse. It's possible to get 19 inches, but really with a car like this, I mean, look at the design of it, you are going to want the larger wheels to really show off that cool, swooping bodywork. I mean, it's a great looking car. I was actually at the launch of the original Audi A7 Sportback back in 2011. Now, I don't look as good in 2018, but this car definitely does. It's a really good evolutionary design which has worked. It's not boring, it just looks really sharp, really nice. I really like the light bar across the back. Obviously, being a Sportback, it is a hatchback, so you get a decent sized boot. It's more practical than a saloon, of course, because of that huge liftback tailgate, but it's not quite as practical as an estate car, but it does look better than an estate car. Now, if you click on the pop-out banner in the top right-hand corner of the screen, you can vote whether you think this car looks better than a Mercedes CLS, the new version, or a BMW 6 Series Grand Coupe. Now, there are some things I don't like about this car's design. Just a couple. One is this. I wish Audi would quit using these fake exhausts. The actual outlet for the exhaust pipe is underneath. There's no need for it. There's no need for it. Now, it is a design treatment, and I won't bore you with waffle about the other design characteristics, such as the character lines and the various graphics on the car. That's just design mumbo jumbo. But another thing that annoys me are these vents here. So this side breather does actually let air in there and down over the wheel for improved aerodynamics, but the rest of this here, it's all just blanked out. It doesn't do anything, and that's annoying. Why bother with that? This is a pretty enough car as it is. I really like the big grille as well, and I like the fact that it's just one piece, just this frame around it. That is actually mimicked by part of the trim inside the car on the dash. Now, there are some things here in the grille. That is a radar and a laser for the car's autonomous driving tech. And yeah, I mean, it's a real smart looking thing. Price has gone up since 2011 though, so this car now starts from around £55,000, and if you click on the pop-out banner in the top right hand corner of the screen or on the link below the video, you can go to CarWow to see how much you can save on a new car. This particular car I've got here though is quite a bit more expensive because it's fully loaded with kit. For instance, you can get 3 different kinds of lights for this car. You can get it with just normal LEDs, you can get matrix LEDs, and these ones which are actually laser lights for a super high beam. And these lights do a really cool thing when you turn them off and on. Though I'm going to need to go somewhere slightly darker to show you that. I've come to an underground car park because I want to show you some of the cool lighting animations you can get with this car. So, when you turn it off and get out, which is exactly what I'm going to do now. There we go. And as you walk away from the car, you'll see that the lights are on to guide you safely to your front door. But when you lock it, lock the car now, give it a second and the lights will do a little dance once you're safely at your front door. There you go. Now, if I unlock the car again, it'll do the opposite. And now I'm going to walk around the back because you get another lighting animation round at the back. So here we go. If I lock it, and then if I unlock it, it'll do the opposite. Seeing as it's kind of dark in here, I'm also going to show you the interior ambient lighting on this car because there's so much you can do with it. Now, I just go into the menu of the infotainment system, and then I can control the various lighting functions, such as background lighting for the inside, and I can control it for various parts of the car. So, for instance, look, there's all these different colours to choose from, and I can go to individual, and I can change it. And I can change the surfaces. Look, there's all these different colours here. Let's go from this red colour, let's go to blue for the surfaces. Look at that. Let's go to something a little bit lighter, to a green colour. And then I can change the footwell as well, on and off if I want to. Go for maximum brightness, which I'm on. Go back. Go for the contours. Let's do the colour of the contours. So you can see that's in red there with the Quattro badge. It's pretty cool. I'm going to go blue. And also on the centre console you'll see all the blue lighting. I've got green in the door. And you can just mix and match. Go with the red for a bit of a burlesque theme. Ooh, a bit purpley. Look at that. It really does help make the inside of this car just feel that bit cool. I mean, at night it's so lit up. It feels really expensive when you're just cruising around in the dark. Okay, so I do love this infotainment screen. It looks fabulous, high definition, and it's super fast as well. The processing is really, really quick. The problem is that while it may have haptic feedback, so when I press a button I'll get a click, so I know I've pressed it, you can't actually feel your way to the buttons because there's no physical buttons. So you're having to look down to operate it, and I just don't think it's as good to use while you're driving as the old-fashioned MMI swivel wheel that you used to get in the old A7. Now, it doesn't matter so much because you have the virtual cockpit as standard, so you've got digital dials there, and you can operate things like the phone, the media system, and various trip functions through it, and go full widescreen for the sat-nav if you want to. It's great. The problem comes when you want to use the climate control. So rather than having like dials again, it's another touchscreen down here, and you really do have to take your eyes off the road to see it, to set the temperature you want. So I don't like that. I think it's a bad idea. Thankfully, the voice commands are pretty good. So set temperature to 19 degrees.
I'll increase the temperature to 19.0.
Ooh. It's precise to 1 decimal point. That's pretty good. Okay, so the system actually is connected to the cloud, so it's really good in terms of its voice recognition. But let's see if it can understand a strong Midlands accent. So, set temperature to 25 degrees.
I'll increase the temperature to 25.0.
Yeah, it even understands Brummies. Now, the particular car I'm driving here is fitted with four-wheel steering, so at low speeds it can turn the back wheels 5 degrees in the opposite direction of the front wheels, and that should make it super manoeuvrable. So it's a big, long car, but I can still weave in and out of car parking spaces fairly easily without worrying about catching my big alloy wheels on the curbs. It actually makes it feel like a much smaller car, and it means you don't need to do quite so much wheel twirling when you're deciding, where the heck should I park? Shall I go here? Oh, I'm not sure about here. That's not right, I don't think. Let's go up here again. Oh, I just can't decide. It's really helpful, actually. Look at that. Amazing. Right then, let's talk about the interior design of this new A7 Sportback. So, This car shares many of its parts with the A8 Saloon, but inside it is slightly different. So you'll notice that the central part of the dash is angled towards the driver, and this combined with the center console, which separates you from the passenger, helps make it feel more sporty. Generally, quality is just the same as the A8, so this wood veneer up here feels good. This metal area here is all very nice, and the shiny plastic, which undoubtedly will scratch after a while, all looks good. And we've got leather material up here on the dash as well. What's not so great though is this, look. This area for the vents, it's just plastic. It feels a little bit cheap. On the A8, that's a wood veneer, and the vents actually appear when you turn the car on. They rotate forward out of the dash. Now, I found another cheap bit of plastic down here. That's scratchy, which is a shame because the rest of the door trim is lovely. And there's another piece just here, there as well. And yeah, that's the only problem, because otherwise this is a very, very nice cabin as well. Look at it, the steering wheel's lovely. And just like the A8, you have door handles which operate like a switch, so you don't have to pull them, you just go like that and the door opens. And then when you shut the door, it's got soft close, so it shuts the door for you. And of course, being the A7, you have frameless windows, so look, when I put the window down and then open the door, you will see you have no door frame. And all of that just makes this car feel a bit more sporty, a bit more coupe-like. Let's talk about some of the driving tech fitted to this car. So, as you can see, it has lane keeping assist, so it'll actually steer the car to keep you in lane. And when you combine that with the radar and laser guided cruise control, which can keep you a safe distance from the car in front, this car can pretty much drive itself. Also, it uses all the sensors around the car to get a feel what's going on around it. So if you suddenly go through roadworks, it can still navigate through the lanes. Now, obviously you can't drive for too long with your hands off the wheel. It will throw a wobbly and tell you to put your hands back on. That's what it's doing now. So I better do as it says, because you shouldn't do that really, should you? Another thing this car has is mild hybrid technology. So you've got a 48 volt battery fitted to this thing, and it allows it to coast. So when you're on the motorway, you can lift off the throttle and this thing will pretty much freewheel. It decouples the engine from the wheels and you just roll along, and that helps save fuel, as does the fact that the stop-start system will actually stop the engine when you're coming to a standstill. So it doesn't wait for you to actually stop, it senses you're slowing down and it just cuts the engine. This particular car is the 3-litre V6 diesel. It's got 286 horsepower, 0 to 60 in around 5.7 seconds, and it's a really nice, smooth, strong engine. So there's loads of pulling power. Definitely suits this car very well. You can also get it from launch with a 3-litre V6 twin-turbo petrol, which has more horsepower but less torque, so it doesn't suit it quite as well as this engine. 40 miles per gallon is apparently possible. The interesting thing is that when you have this car in dynamic mode, you hear that noise. I mean, I'm sure it's playing fake engine sound through the speakers, and I don't like that. I mean, I don't like a diesel rattle either, but I hate those fake engine sounds. In terms of the rest of the driving experience, well, this is a big, heavy car, but it doesn't half grip the road well. You've obviously got Quattro 4-wheel drive, and that all-wheel steering system fitted to this car. When you're going faster, the wheels at the back actually turn in the same direction as the front wheels to give you a bit more stability, and it handles very well. There's not too much roll. My only complaint really is the steering. I mean, it's sharp enough and it's accurate enough. It just seems a little bit weird, almost like you're playing a computer game. It's as though the steering wheel isn't really connected to the front wheels. It's my only complaint really, and that prevents it feeling truly fun to drive. But do you care in a car like this? I mean, it's more about the luxury. And anyway, something like a BMW 6 Series Grand Coupe or a Mercedes CLS isn't exactly fun to drive either. Yes, this is very good for getting you from A to B in perfect luxury while looking very cool. So then, what's my overall verdict on the new Audi A7 Sportback? Well, I'm not yet totally sold on the new touchscreen infotainment system. Also, the air suspension on this car, it can jolt over really sharp bumps, and it's not the sportiest car to drive. But you know, all that is a small price to pay for something that looks this cool, feels expensive, and is generally really nice to drive and travel in. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it. And if you want to see how much money you can save on a new car, click on that box just there to go to carwow.com. Also, please subscribe to this channel by clicking our logo beneath. And if you click down over there, you can watch more content.